Hello, Sophie and James. It's beautiful here in Brisbane. Now, doors open at the Property Buyer Expo at 10 a.m, so it is slightly too quiet still. People are getting their coffees, but joining me fresh maybe from the cafe is Simon Presley from Propertyology. Simon, thank you for being our first guest off the cuff. You were speaking across the weekend about why we should look to the regions to invest. I think people are slightly maybe fearful when they think of regions and investing, but your argument is, let's go there.
Oh, look, absolutely. And investors should always keep an open mind to capital cities and regions at all times, Amanda. But now more than ever is really the time to remove the blinkers. We know that most capital cities, with the exception of Hobart, are quite flat at the moment. It may remain that way for quite some time. But Hobart, in 2014, there wasn't anyone who had anything positive to say about Hobart. But if you removed the blinkers and invested then as Propertyology did, you would now, sitting here in 2018, have made more money in that market than any other market in Australia. So don't follow the masses. Consider each market on its merits. And right here and now, I'm not saying every region, but right here and now, there are probably a dozen really strong regional cities that I think will outperform 8 out of 8 capital cities over the next 3 to 5 years.
Why do you think there is that stigma around investing in our regions?
The stigma mostly comes from those who have only ever lived in a capital city, so perhaps their mental perception or the visual image that they have might be influenced by a mining town dying or a farm with very few people or something like that. But right throughout Australia, and we are an extremely diverse country, there would be about 40 really strong regional cities that I would describe as a mini capital city. So what I mean by that is they've got their own very stable population. They're 150 to 200 years old. They've got all of the essential infrastructure. They've got hospitals, they've got tertiary education facilities, they've got quality retail facilities, and what they've got in spades is affordable housing. They've got a strong sense of community, and large parts of regional Australia, their economies are really starting to pick up. In our presentation tomorrow, we're going to be mentioning 30 locations throughout Australia, non-capital cities, where their rate of job growth outperforms the Australian national average.
Right. So when you sort of have to be ahead of the game, don't you? It's almost like looking through that glass fortune ball and trying to pick where to invest now so that the rewards are reached later, like you did in Hobart. What markers specifically do you look at?
Economic drivers is the key thing for us. So back in 2014, Hobart was actually in recession. Here and now today, 4 years later, it's got the second best unemployment rate out of eight capital cities. So it's understanding the individual drivers of each local economy, and then it is crystal balling. What are the things that influence each of those industries? Are they positive indicators or are they negative indicators? Now, when we do that exercise every day and we're looking at regional Australia now, there are lots of locations that we are very bullish about their economy improving. As I said, there's already 30 regional locations that job growth has already outperformed the national average.
Can you name some of them, or should people have to come to the expo tomorrow?
I definitely need to come to the expo tomorrow. Ours is the opening presentation. We'll kick off at 10:30 sharp.
All right. Okay.
Population is important, but that sort of is reported after it's happened. One thing that's often not reported with population figures is the actual regional markets. In the last financial year, Port Macquarie, which is Australia's 27th biggest city, regional Australia really gave birth to Port Macquarie. So what I mean by that is Port Macquarie has a population of 77,000 people. Regional Australia's population grew by 77,000 people last year. That's an enormous figure, but yet all we heard about was Sydney's population grew by X and Melbourne's grew by Y. Regional Australia is really growing.
So take our brains out of the city and look towards our region. Simon, look, I'll maybe be there tomorrow, but if not, I'll give you a call and find out those hot spots. James and Sophie, I'll let you in on the secret spots.
Beautiful. Keep us updated. We'll come back to you a few times today. Check out that beautiful Property Buyers Expo. Thanks so much, Amanda.